Hi, I am Margot at Earth Mineral Arts. Welcome. This introductory tutorial on pigment storage boxes is, in my world, storage boxes for storing pigments in progress, for pigment making and original watercolor works of any type. You can also use your boxes for other art supplies. And later on, once we get into a lot of the other various watercolor tutorials, it'll really all make sense because there's other elements for pigments that get to be stored in these things that really work out wonderfully. And so I hope you enjoy this video. This is a short one, but the next one will be a little bit longer, showing the actual placement of the artwork on the box. But for now, we're going over all of the cut-ups. So first step, you have chosen a cigar box. Next is reviewing some artwork choices that you make copies of on a color printer. Setting that aside. So in reviewing some of the artwork that you've placed on your printer, you can use anything really. Tissue that you've dabbed color onto, if you've done any collage making workshops, this is an ideal time for using any type of scrap colored materials that you just really enjoy. And this one, my printer, the cartridge is actually running out of ink. And so it's making all of these odd colors. And I really kind of like that at the end of the cartridge. I'm still using it a little bit for artistic mystery things. You know, like, oh my God, that turned out like that. That is so cool. Apple green. And then, so here on the side, I used some different colored stamp pads to see what colors I would like marked on top of this. And I actually went for one that was more of a sepia or a raw umber tone rubbed on top. And this part is really just this antique piece of paper with raw umber that's been jelly printed. And then I marked through it with a brush afterwards. So there's just fun things, but on these boxes, it's really good to have them not have originals. You really want your copies so that you can use the originals for other things, but you'll understand after a while, these boxes do sometimes get messy. So go over your box for the balance of creating cut and torn elements. So like here, you know, if you had a small cutter, you just go ahead and, you know, start getting them trimmed up the way you like them. Now that's if you want a nice straight edge. You don't necessarily need to have it be a perfect straight edge. You may just actually want torn. And that's another element too. You just take a nice big ruler, something, a metal one, or like my bamboo one here. It's ideal for just laying on there and just pulling off a strip of the paper. Now this paper is the double stick back, or it's not double stick, it's a single stick, and you can apply it to anything. And that's what I always recommend using on the cigar boxes, because if you're gluing on a cigar box, sometimes the glues begin to go through and saturate the paper that's still on there. You don't want to pull the paper off. These are utilitarian but look fantastic kinds of boxes. And so you really just want to be able to glue pieces on with all the paper intact. That way you're not causing warpage, which does very often occur if you're not really watching out for that. So I'll go over that again in the next video too. But for this one, you know, I'm already seeing right here that I like this duckled edge. So I can just go on one side of that. And this doesn't have to be perfect because I know that whatever I decide to finally put on top, pull that box back, then I can cut one side and see if I really want all of that on there, or if I want to really take off that edge, or if I'm gonna use a different piece. It could be anything that you think is the ultimate and cool. I happen to like these orange foiled cigar boxes, so I want those to peek out as I'm working. So I have these three ready to go, and then I have this one too, which is really little watercolor pieces that I just hand cut out. If you can see those up close, I'm looking to see if it's focusing. It's not doing too well. I can see why a lot of other instructors have this dilemma in their iPads. But anyway, they're really just very sweet remnant pieces from watercolors, and I just cut them out. And you can do anything to them. You can mark in them with pencils, you know, and then they become the extra embellishment on top of whatever copy pieces you actually made. So like on here, I think I'm going to go ahead and put one straight edge on and tear the other edge. Or, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just cut this side too. And then here, I'm not going to worry about dimension yet. You can measure these things, you know, depending on how specific to the edge you want to get. But this is just your prepping video. And I think you'll give yourself some time to figure that out. And it's actually a nice look to do a little bit of a watercolor piece like these are, you know, where you paint it on top after it's already been put into place. That actually works out with the rules of how not to destroy your box with warpage. But I'll talk about that some more later on too. And let's see what else. So this one, I think is going to be for the sides of the box. So I do want to measure this. So these are, where I wanted them to be is about 1 1/4 inches wide, not long. So I just have to mark it. Now I don't do these things to perfection because I have a lot of overlapping imagery that I really enjoy doing. So there's 1 1/4. And I think anybody will find that too. That's just in case my ruler moves, which it does sometimes, and that's very annoying. But there we go. That's actually 2 sides there. And then this one can be 2 long sides. And the other one's 2 short sides then. And I think I'll use pieces of this on top of the main image that I work out. Oh, don't need that one. Difference between rulers. Plastic ones are a little flimsy, but you can really find your way because it's clear. And then you have to have a metal or something wooden to hold it down with, so that it's just easy to get nice tears, little decals. Or if you need a nice big decal on what's actually copy paper, you can just hand tear it. The hand tearing doesn't have to be perfect. It should really follow whatever your rhythm is, and that's actually not bad. I might even cut this at an angle. I'm not sure yet. So go over your box for the balance of creating cut and torn elements from your selection of sticker back color copy labels. Next up, we're already at the end of this one, but these look pretty good. You know, it's going to be fairly easy to just assemble this whole thing in the next video, so I think you're really going to enjoy seeing how this all turns out. So in the last video, I'll also go over when to use glue and when not, and how jelly printing can work out with just a dab of acrylic. And I hope you're having a great day. Thank you, and goodbye for now. I thought I would take just a few minutes to show off several of these boxes, just so that you could see how they are finished. You know, I have been a collector of all kinds of ephemera through the years, so I love seals and stamps and anything odd and wonderful, you know, images and reproductions of other works of art from museums or gallery shows. This is actually from a little miniature painting I did. And then some of the others are just, you know, where I placed objects and artwork on top of the copy screen. I have a collection of butterflies. I put them right on the screen. Oh, I missed the back, so I still got a spot there to fill. And then this one has red earths. So I have a sack of rose crimson and some heartwood of 4 and plum hematite ready to start mixing. This one is where I've taken old book plates and, you know, out of old books that were falling apart, and I just tore it out. It was such a crime. I just loved it. And just painting in the background using stamp pads and doing a little brushwork on top of it all. It just really helps it to all sing. More butterflies. So even these boxes, they're kind of always a work in progress. Got some solar sunflower and buckskin yellow ready to go when I'm ready to do that. And then this one here is my turquoise colors with verdigris of, what did I put in here? Copper vitriol 3. I've got some chalk of coxcomb green ready to go. Cedar berry. This one's a slate that I picked up, hand foraged, and it needs some pounding in the mortar and pestle. And then this is just some, I don't know, it wasn't very pretty azurite, but it'll probably make a nice blue-green color. And then sometimes I put on hand-painted little swatches to indicate what's in there. But it's not always what's in there as much as it's the fun of what I decide to put in it, which could be anything. And then sometimes I just put a little tag on there at the end. If I really decide those are the colors I want in there, then it gets marked. So, hope you're having a great day. Thank you. Hi, and welcome to part 2 of Pigment Storage Boxes. And this segment will complete the covering of this box. And so I'm just going to go ahead. I've already laid it out. And if you're using any kind of shipping labels, you just go ahead and start peeling off the backs of the pieces where you know you want to place them. And they have a certain amount of lift that's really nice before you finally seal it down. So you can adjust them a little bit. And they begin to look really nice. And sometimes the section where the peel off the back of it, you will sometimes have to use an X-Acto blade to get it to come off. So it means really that the sticker back shipping label is really nice and it looks very smooth. If it's on a corner, a joint, you just keep running your finger over it to get it to smooth down flat. And you can just keep layering up as much as you like. I wouldn't go beyond 2 or 3 layers. And it doesn't have to be perfectly placed on there. It's just all about, what look and style you want it to have with the colors you've selected from your own work. Or, if you had to go online to find some imagery that you could just run off some copies, that all works. So far, I think it's looking good, having just done the sides. I'm going to turn this sideways because it's going to really open this way. And this is going to be the front. And I just got to find the part where it peels off. And then sometimes these things are a little hard to see. So you could see that actually lifted really nice and easy. And then you can just get it to smooth down just as easily. This one's at an angle, which I knew it would be. So I have a little piece, which will go here on the side. I have to figure out, well, how do I want that to look? Sometimes I keep small pieces. I don't know if you can see these. Instagram's a little funny, and so is the iPad video editor about how far out your image goes. And usually it's about an inch I have to take off on both sides of the video. So here's one where I've had to get a X-Acto blade into it. You just have to watch out for not stabbing yourself. think that looks really nice. I'm actually pleased with it. And I might put something else there. I'm not sure yet. To get some of these things out of the way. When I get to working on these things and the pieces really do begin to fly. So here I have this piece. You always have to double check to make sure you get all of the paper backing off. The light's not too good on this one. And I actually want to tear some of that off. And the foil, if you get a lot of fingerprints or glue, excuse me, you can just wipe it off. I actually like allowing, excuse me, I like allowing the foil to shine through. And there. Do it opposite-ended. There. Which is a really strong chartreuse kind of yellow. But I like the May apple green that stuck out from it. So I actually have a piece ready to go to put on that. And this one just comes from a watercolor I did where I swatched. And I was thinking about rose petals. This is actually going to be an earth box, so I'll probably be putting raw sienna and clay mixes in here. So I've decided to use this original, and I'll probably just put a little bit of clear acrylic on top of it, and maybe even on the back, and that'll help preserve it. Because sometimes these bags will get a hole in them for some strange reason. And it's really great then if this has a little more acrylic on it, it will do better. And anything you attach to it, like a shipping label, that's going to add extra strength to anything that's like this one from Antique Paper. Got yanked out of a book. Madness and Mayhem. And I think it looks good. So I'll get that out of the way. So then, you can always attach your bottom piece if you use an acrylic piece that comes from jelly printing. You can attach it with double stick. I just don't recommend glue because it'll warp the box for sure. You can use a little bit of glue when it comes to placing it on top of paper that is already there. This one is a red ochre swatch that I did. And this one doesn't have to be too perfect either, and I hand knuckled it And then another place, on other sides, I used a ruler to just flip it and have it over and done with and not worry about measuring. Although you can measure, it definitely adds to what you like doing. This one here, this is a magazine print, and it's old. I like old pieces like this. It just lends itself to ambiance or just the right color effect. So here I'm going to glue this one because I've got the original paper of the box and the paper from the shipping label, which is stuck down nicely. And then I don't want to make this too heavy. Rublev archival glue is just really great for all of its dissimilar surface material attachments. You know, so I will use this for paper, gluing it onto tin, or very different surfaces, non-porous to porous types of paper. And that itself, actually just, no, that's at an odd angle, but boy, it looks great. Now, if you have a corner that you missed, then you got to take your X-Acto blade and lift it up. Sometimes the corners get dried out really fast because you don't want it to be too heavy. It's okay to go back, lift it, get it in there. Wipe off the excess glue. Well, that's how I did it too. But that's all right. Nothing like good milk glue. Now this particular milk glue, once it's dried down, it's permanent. Although, if you really want to pull something off, you can get it to come off. You'd have to experiment with pieces like that on something that wasn't important. And there we go. And that is the end of this segment. And thank you for joining me. Have a great day. I decided to do this extra short video just to show off the box and what I had done. I actually put on an extra label so I can write on there what colors I've chosen to put in. And here I've added in a little piece of, it's still drying, but a real watercolor cutout. And then when I added these tear-offs to the bottom part, so it looks a little more balanced, I think. But it didn't have to be. I just liked it. It turned out nearly balanced. And then I just wanted to show off, this is the Liquitex Basics acrylic, and it does dry flat, which is so nice in the world of, you know, printed materials that are, you know, very flat looking and don't have a gloss on them. This is ideal to have around to add on just a clear coating of something that will give it a bit of protection. And you know, since they're going to be for pigmented powders or, you know, stone collections, or even, gosh, they could even be, you know, just stack your art in them to get your own process going. They work out great. So that's it for today. And I, once again, hope you have a great evening or a great day. And thank you again from Emma at Subscription. Thank you.